Hello and welcome to my Unison League Lancer Beginner's Guide. This will help you grow accustomed to the game and give you some advice on the Lancer's first 3 rings. Lancers are DPS or damage per second characters. It is your job to destroy your enemies, whether that be monsters or other players. The best Lancer builds emphasize weapon and monster gear over defensive gear. Ideally, you want monsters with physical attack and defense stats. But physical attack and magical defense and even magical attack and physical attack are good options. Basically anything with physical attack. Physical attack and physical defense is ideal because your moves are based primarily off these 2 stats, and these will help you do the most damage. Magical attack and physical attack are the 2 primary stats for your monster's damage, so equipping monsters with these stats will help them do more damage if you're finding it lacking. Early on in the game, you may find that you have trouble acquiring the sais and lances, which are the Lancer's weapons and the weapons your class gets passive boost from. It's okay to equip things from other classes to make sure your character continues growing. You're probably going to have to early on and swap as you acquire new things. For Lancers, the best things to equip if you can't get sais and lances are swords and axes, the soldier's weapons. This is because they have higher physical attack than magical, which will help boost your damage output. Armor and helms, aka helmets, are the defensive gear pieces that Lancers gain passive boost from. They tend to have higher physical defense than magical, whereas hats and clothing have the opposite, higher magical defense than physical. Early on, you may have to mix and match your defensive gear. That's okay. You can swap them out for an ideal set as you acquire more gear and continue to grow. Now that that's been covered, I want to take some time to discuss some abilities I feel like you guys should equip. Please note that these are just suggestions, and other sets may work better for you depending on your needs and those of your allies. The weapons you equip may also grant boosts and bonuses to certain moves, making them a better choice for you, so please keep this in mind. It is also important to note that some moves are better in certain situations than others, which is why I'll be organizing my suggestions by PvE, PvP, and Coliseum. Starting with the Lancer, the first ring. PvE, or person versus environment, these are things like normal quests. For these, I'd bring Focus, which increases the critical hit chance of 1 ally and their adjacent allies with a max of 3 allies by 20% for 60 seconds. I'd also equip Rush, which has an ability power of 100 and deals physical damage to 1 enemy 1 to 3 times. Then I'd take Thrust, which has an ability power of 140 and deals physical damage to 1 enemy. Its added effect is that it paralyzes the target for 10 seconds with a success value of 30. It has a combo effect which doesn't come into play until you unlock some abilities in the next ring, which seems to be an odd but not entirely unexpected choice from the 18 devs. Then I'd take Warcry, which increases the attack of 1 ally and their adjacent allies with a max of 3 allies, but 20% for 60 seconds. I chose this set because all of these moves have a pretty low or average cost and cooldown, which is good this early on in the game when you don't have Ether Exchange from the Mage's Rings. Ether Exchange, or EE, helps recover cost. You pay in your HP. I'd ignore Attack Stance, although it doesn't cost anything, its cooldown is too long to be particularly useful. For PvP, specifically guild battles, although raids are also part of PvP, I'd bring the same or similar set. It's often helpful to bring Cheer to guild battle to make it easier for your team to fill their unison gauge, since many guild battles are determined by unison battles. Thus, in each set I present you with, I suggest equipping Cheer for guild battle. Knowing what to swap out can be difficult, however, and should ultimately be determined by repeated gameplay and determining what helps your guild most in battle. Do they need more damage to be dealt or damage boosters? With that being said, I'd suggest swapping Warcry out for Cheer because Warcry only affects physical attack, making it more helpful for certain types of builds than others, whereas Focus increases critical hit chance across the board, which helps everyone but support clerics, but it's ultimately up to you. For Coliseum, I'd swap Warcry for Guard, which reduces damage taken by 90% for 5 seconds. I'm only equipping this here because the entire point of Coliseum is survival. The other team scores points each time you or your teammates die. Since you're probably a little squishy this early on, it's best to have a move that can nullify a lot of damage until a cleric can heal you or your teammates can use a monster to heal you all. I'd keep everything else the same. Now, for the second ring of the Lancer class, the Highlancer. For PvE, we're going to be updating your moves. Swap Rush for Sting, which has an ability power of 140 and deals physical damage to 1 enemy. Its added effect is that it increases the target's break value by 10, making it more likely that they will break, and you can do some critical damage. Its combo is that when it is used after Piercer, it deals physical damage with an ability power of 150. It also increases the break value to 15. Your Sting Mastery passive from the Lancer ring will also increase its ability power by 20 when a Lancer Scythe is equipped in your first gear slot. This is pretty helpful because it allows you to deal damage out faster, which is your class's main purpose. Swap Focus for Eagle Eye, which increases the critical hit chance of all allies by 20% for 60 seconds. It's better than Focus because it affects all your allies as opposed to merely 3 maximum. It also only costs 2 more than Focus and has 5 more seconds of cooldown. Swap Warcry for Soul of the Wolf, which increases the attack of all allies by 20% for 60 seconds. This will stack with a boost your allies use up to a max of 8 count normally. Soul of the Wolf has 5 seconds more of cooldown than Warcry and costs 2 more, but extends its effect to all allies as opposed to a maximum of 3, similar to Eagle Eye. Finally, update Light Thrust to Sharp Thrust, which merely adds 1 cost and cooldown and raises the move's ability power by 10. This means its ability power is 150. It deals physical damage to one enemy and has the added effect of paralyzing the target for 10 seconds, with a success value of 40. This is helpful because the paralyzed status ailment can keep your enemies from hurting you and often needs to be cleared by a cleric and their abilities, although this isn't always the case. PvP, same as PvE with a potential cheer swap. For Kahlo, bring Guard, drop Soul of the Wolf, bring the rest of your PvE and PvP set. Now the Dragoon, the 3rd ring. For PvE, I'd suggest swapping Soul of the Wolf with Ether Exchange from the Mage's class ring so you can recover costs more swiftly. I would keep Sting because of its combination effect with Savage Sting, which will replace Sharp Thrust. Savage Sting has a cooldown of 7 seconds and costs 12 to use, which is low for cooldowns and average for cost. Its ability power is 160 and it deals physical damage to one enemy. Its added effect is that it increases the target's break value by 10. When used in combination after Sting, it deals physical damage with an ability power of 170, which is an increase of 10 over the non-combo version. It also increases the break value added effect to 15, an increase of 5 over the non-combo version. The increase in the break value, I believe, is most important because it makes it more likely for your enemy to break and for you to do critical damage. Finally, I would round out my set with Soul of the Wolf instead of updating it to Ogre Spirit. I think the cooldown is too long to be very helpful. 30 seconds is kind of ridiculous. And I think Soul of the Wolf is better than Bestial Shout, which reduces the defense of all enemies by 20% for 60 seconds. For PvP, I'd bring the same as PvE with a potential cheer swap. For Kahlo, I'd bring Guard in place of Ether Exchange. You don't need Ether Exchange because you start with cost in Kahlo. Bring the remainder of your PvE and PvP set. Some other suggestions I have for beginners is to avoid enchanting your moves. It's going to cost proficiency and you're going to fail a lot. You need that proficiency right now in order to grow, to keep moving through the rings and make your character stronger. Wait until you've unlocked at least 3 classes in their entirety before you start doing this. Use your AP so you can keep gaining costs and equipping gear to get stronger. The second part is most important. You don't want to be underleveled. Infuse your gear and unlock the potential of monsters to get stronger as well. Those passives will boost your gear score and help protect you against things like status ailments, which are things like paralyze and blind, and elemental damage from monsters. Also, plus 198 your gear to gain extra stats and make sure your monsters have an edge in unison battles. If you want some more information about both of the things I just mentioned, check out the links down below in the description. I'll have them there for you so you can refer to them and find out everything you need to know. Always ask for help from veterans and stronger players, especially other Lancers. They will make your life easier and keep you from falling into unnecessary traps. Think about where you want your character to end up. Do you want to remain a DPS character? Do you want to main a Lancer? Or would you like to play around with other classes? Consider this as you build your character because it will affect your gameplay and build. It will save you in the long run from pesky scrolls and restat elixirs, which can really add up for free-to-play players especially. And that concludes my Unison League Lancer Beginner's Guide. I hope you found my guide helpful and feel better prepared to play Unison League. I wish you all the best of luck and thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe and hit that bell so you know what's up, and leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help and will be adding more beginner guides over time to continue to expand your breadth of knowledge. Anything that's already up will be found in the description down below. Happy gaming, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys! Thanks everyone for watching this video. Please note that any corrections and or clarifications will be listed down below in the description section. And if you like what you saw here today, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd always like to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Also, hit that notification bell so you know what's up, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye guys!